Hi, I'm Rob Cosman. Welcome to my shop. Typically, I don't do wood turning videos, not a lot of them anyway, more dovetails and things of a furniture nature. However, in my schooling, I had some of the best training for wood turning that you could get. I spent 5.5 years as Dale Nish's assistant. Now, if you don't know who Dale is, go back and do some research on wood turning in the 80s, 90s, and you find out that he is often known as the father of wood turning. Not only Dale Nish, but people like Richard Raffin. I had the opportunity to spend a little bit of time with him as well, he's being a good friend of Dale Nish's. And over that time, Dale always taught the perfect way to do things. By that I mean the best way. Now that can be a matter of opinion, but when it's coming from Dale Nish, that's a pretty high opinion. And as I do a lot of traveling now and talk to a lot of woodworkers, I find a lot of people are scraping. And while there's nothing wrong with that, you're really not learning the art of turning, I don't think, if your main tool is a scraper. They're convenient, they're easy to use, anybody can pick one up and start to work with it, but the surface quality that you're going to get is a little bit different. Now, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about what we do. We run a production shop here, so we spend a lot of time on the lathe. Here's an item that we make, it's called a Kerf X10, it's for cutting half-blind dovetails, but we make the handles here. It's out of a mahogany-like wood, so we have to turn all of those by hand. We also turn our mallet handles and mallets and all kinds of stuff. So the less time I have to sand, the better. Now I've got a piece of that material on the lathe. I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a little bit of shaping with this pre-sharpened, replaceable carbide tip cutter. Now I just rotated it so I've got a fresh surface. Tool rest close to the work, and you can go in and you can do whatever you want with this. It's really easy because there's no grabbing to speak of. By the way, when you're turning, you always want to be watching what's going on up here, the profile, not where the cutter is engaging the wood. Now I'll come down here, and this would typically have a little bit of a hollow here, so it's easy to do, easy to control, doesn't grab on you, you don't have to have a death grip. Now I come in here and I'm going to try to get as smooth a finished cut as possible to make it a fair evaluation. Now we'll shut that down and we'll have a look. Okay, so get the camera in there really close and see what you've got for a finish. If I was going to sand that now, I would probably, to make it most efficient, probably start at 150. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing. I don't want to run out of material, so I'm going to get closer, but I'm going to use my skew chisel. So here's my skew. It's got a fairly long bevel. I was just in the process of changing that. It was a little bit too long. But this tool works considerably different. You've got to go in first and find a point where the bevel is making contact with the wood, and that acts as the support for the cutting edge. Now I got to come in here and bring this down a little bit, and we're going to come in. Actually, the first thing we want to do is cut a little bit of a radius out here. Then we're going to cut, and you don't typically use a skew chisel to do an inside curve, but in my case, I don't want to take the time to stop and switch tools. And actually I need a parting tool. I should have come out here first and cut a little tab on the end of this. Then I would come in and I would start to shape down to that. Again, remember, you got to avoid the habit of wanting to look down where the tool is making contact with the wood. Instead, watch the profile on the top. Now I'm going to come in here and just get a finished surface that we can come in and evaluate and see what level of sanding we'd have to do. Now, if you could feel that, there is no tear out whatsoever. I could come in there, and I usually start with 220, but I could actually probably come in and start with 320 and finish with 320. There's such a difference in the surface quality that you end up with. Does it take time to learn? It takes a fairly long time to master. It'll catch on you. If you allow that tip to engage the wood before you first get that bevel resting, it'll go in and it'll take a big bite out of there and scare the crap out of you and take a big chunk out of your wood. But once you learn how to do it, it is so much more efficient. Learning to tame the skew. Anyway, there's a lot of other folks that I'm sure can give you a lot better instructional videos if you decide that you want to go a little bit further. I just wanted to bring it to your attention because I think there's a lot of folks, as I said, that are learning to turn strictly through scraping, not realizing that there are other tools out there, and this is the way it used to be done. I have a friend, Tommy Sorensen in Salt Lake, who was so good with the skew chisel that he could compete with industrial turned newel posts and spindles, and his were perfect, and the finish on them was just unobtainable through sandpaper. It's really incredible. Anyway, hope this helps.